Today I'm going to show you 3 games that want to be Total War, but they are not. So number 1 on the list is Tabletop Tavern. This is a pretty nice game that you will find on Steam right now. You can go and download the demo and enjoy it yourself. We can see that we have things such as Templars, we have field pikemen and peasant bowmen, including swordsmen, a lot of other things like Landsknechts and cavalry as well. You're going to see that there's also halberders here. You can have different tiers here, you can have tier 2, you can have different factions as well. There is going to be factions such as this one that is in progress, such as skeletons. This faction over here, you can see that it is something around elves. You have the Raven Host, which are some sort of Northmen, Vikings, and Greenskins. So now that we know that we're going to go to new campaign and we're going to discover what we have here, we have plenty of characters to choose from here. We see a little bit of text here, which is going to give us a flavor for these characters. We can see orcs, things like the Northmen. This is another Northman. We can see elves in here, a paladin elf or something like that. This is going to be like a sorceress. This is a necromancer, something like that. And we have also this one that has a pretty nice armor. The factions that are from China and Japan. You can see here, you can have a look at the units that you perhaps can be interested from. We can see that we can go to battles, we can go here to events, as you can see. We can go to also treasures, towns, shops. We can buy things, buy a lot of items. It's like it has RPG elements, which is pretty nice. So let's begin with any battle that we can see here. So we select this one. These are our cards. You can see here that there are gear slots here for each of the cards. You can also rename the units. This is the peasant bowman. You can also go and say disband the unit. Here is the interest at turn end, which is pretty much the upkeep. We can see different stats like melee attack, melee defense, weapon strength, so on and so forth. A lot of similarities with Total War. What we're going to see here is that there is going to be a skirmish here in which we're going to be fighting against goblin shooters and goblin rabble, including dire wolves. You can auto-resolve the same way as you would do it in Total War. We can see here our timer. We can stop it. We can even do it slow motion. We see here the small mini-map. The other thing that I like is that this is us. This is the actual hero. And this is our opponent, which apparently is a very normal guy. Look at this guy over here. This is amazing. There are some guards in here that are sitting and just chatting, and there are some others here. You can see that guy over there. You can also zoom into the bar here, so you can see that this guy is just waiting for his beer to be served in here. So there you go. You can see the map down here, so it is very, very nice. There are a lot of interesting details here. So let's go in front of the battlefield and place our troops. You move the things exactly as you would do it in Total War, so you just drag them like this. So I'm going to place the Levy Swordsman at the flanks and the pikemen in here. You can choose either guard mode, you can halt the squad, or you can withdraw the squad, which is going to be the button for routing. So let's start the battle. We're going to see here I'm going to pause so you can see the enemies. This is a dire wolves. Just to give you an example, the models are very, very nice. They are using this type of cartoonish low polygon models that are very nice. And here you can see as well the orcs. These are the fighting orcs. And here we can see the archer orcs. You can see the banners here. They look the same as the Total War banners. Okay, so let's play. And let's see how we are going to be able to defeat these guys. This is going to pick his own targets. He's shooting the arrows. So now I'm going to hit here. this guy is just simply trying to flank me here. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to send these guys over here. And you can see the battle here. There's a little bit of gore. It's not so gory, but here you have it. Okay, let's send this guys. You can see that you're using the same drag and move as the Total War series. These guys were routed. Just follow these guys here and just flank them so we can win this battle. It's interesting how the indies right now are getting a lot of inspiration from Total War. That is something good, I think. You can do all of these things. You can do rest the army, which is going to give you health plus 20% unit health, or loot the battlefield. You're going to find here a Ring of the Elven King, which is going to give you units plus 4 in the missile. You can ransom the captives, or you can just conscript the survivors. The units are cards, basically. We can recruit units from that faction, by the way. So in the shop, you have a lot of different cards that you can buy. You buy it in booster packs, something like that, tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. You also have stuff just like health potions and this thing, which is fills all your empty potion slots with a random potion. You also have gear packs, which you can place in here. So this is pretty much the tabletop tavern. So this was my number 3. My number 2 is Strategos. Now, Strategos is a very, very interesting one because from the 3 that I'm going to show in this video, this one is perhaps the one that is trying the harder to become a Total War successor. If you want to discuss the successor thing about Total War and several interesting points that I made, you can check this video here. And also you can check my other video that I have in my channel about Strategos. I'm going to leave it on the description. Strategos is kind of beautiful because, well, some people will not agree, but the way the units look, they are looking, for me, very nice. They look like very small figurines in a tabletop war game, so they have a point on that. You can see that you can choose from the Roman Polybian, you can choose the army of Pyrrho and Macedonian army. This is the late successor, by the way, and the Carthaginian late. There are a lot of units here. They are planning to get 100 factions here. You have things like Hastatii, Principes, the Velites, Equites. You also have Pesetaroi, the Indian elephants, Greek armored cavalry, and Thureophoroi. For the Carthaginians, you also have the Gallic warband, which is pretty normal because Carthage was a mercenary faction. You have North African light javelin men, and also Numidian light cavalry, Libyan spearmen, and Poeni armored cavalry, in between others. So at this point, guys, I will ask to subscribe if you haven't done that. It is very easy. You just hit the subscribe button. You don't have to pay anything to do that. If you want to support me, you also have the option to support me in Buy Me a Coffee. If you are new to the channel, welcome. And if you are the regular, thank you very much. So let's go and see what we have with this one. As you can see, in terms of the map, we have a very similar map layout for the one that you can find in Total War games. You can really zoom in and have a very nice look at the units. As I was mentioning, this game has a lot of promise because of the way the units look. You can see that you can select the units down here the same way you do it in Total War. At least the banners are not exactly the same as Total War. You can click the unit and you can place them on the battlefield the same way you would do it in a Total War game. And also you have all of these cards with their stats in here. He is armored, he is restrained, veteran, sending them to pushback mode or fallback mode. You can see the manual, which is very, very interesting and has a lot of interesting things. They have worked a lot in this so far. There are plenty of rules here and mechanics that do not appear in a Total War game. You need to send these couriers here that are going to move from the general to the units. In Strategos, you also have the ability to see the facing of the units like this, and you're going to be able to move the troops in this fashion, which is pretty nice. All the information is shown in the cards in here. You can see that this one is now being attacked by missile. You can see that these guys are using missile right now. You can see also the map, and you can see the elevation with these lines over here, which gives the game a very nice touch. So overall, I think that this game is pretty interesting. It has a lot of potential. I can tell you that this game has a lot of promise. It is very nice to play with it. It is very good. If you wanted to give us some of your opinion about Strategos and how Strategos is going to be a very interesting game in the wargame genre, let us know in the comments so we can discuss this. It is pretty interesting. In my second position, we have Strategos. And in the position number 1, I will show you guys Master of Command. Master of Command is also for the festival on Steam, and you can go and download it and enjoy it yourself. But now that you're here, let me tell you what this is about and why this game is so similar to Total War. So in this game, you have the possibility to select different factions over here. Here you can see the faction of Prussia. You have the possibility to have resources. There's a campaign map also that you're going to see in a few moments. For example, here we have field musicians, we have tobacco rations, and the pocket Bibles. These things are items that you can put on the actual units, so they are going to get buffs by using those items. You have also doctrines here. It is said here that, for example, the Kingdom of Prussia has Junker aristocracy. This is a faction-related buff, but you also have canton levies. You can unlock things like Freikorps, volunteers, and old corps, and things like that. The units also have a lot of stats that are very similar to Total War. You have a commander. In this case, we can see here a commander that it is orderly, that gives stamina and veterancy gain, and it's timely, reload speed plus move speed. If you click here, you can see the map. You can choose in between all of these, Thuringia, Hanover, and Father Pomerania. You can also go here and you're going to see the things that are related to the units. For example, in this encampment, you can also purchase new brigades in here, but we don't have enough thalers. Thalers is going to be the currency here. And look at this. You can rename your actual regiments, upgrade them here. You can click here and you can go and upgrade them, whatever you want. The other thing that you can do is that you have the muskets here, and if you have, or you happen to find another musket on a battle, or you are going to grab the muskets of the fallen. You're going to be able to put them here. You can change socket bayonets, this and that. Here we have cylindrical ramrods. So for example, you want to put cylindrical ramrod here. These are the slots in which you can place the Bible on or whatever item you would like. You can buy slots with the Thaler currency. You can see here, for example, melee, we can see stamina, we can see movement speed, accuracy, and also we can click here and we can choose our own flag pattern. You can change the color of the flag. You can customize this thing as you wish. It is pretty nice. So let's continue here and let's see what else we can see. When you select a campaign here or a mission or whatever, you're going to be sent into the map. When you go to the map, the thing is going to generate all of the things. You're going to begin in the encampment and you can go very quickly to the map. You're going to receive your first mission and you're going to be able to see that the map is pretty damn huge. There are a lot of details here. You can see that there's an outpost here. You can see here that there's a battlefield. You have here as well pause, play, go fast, days. You can see. So it is based on days each time that you hit play. You can see here that you can order your troops to march. You can order them to do forced march, which is going to increase campaign speed. Attrition is going to be increased. Any resemblance to Total War is pure coincidence, and you can see drill and forage, this and that. Now, for example, defeat enemy headquarters, you click here and you're going to see that this is the enemy headquarters. If you go here, you can see reinforce 4 outposts. You have your own missions here. And if you hover here, you can see, and it's going to circle the places that you want to go. So for example, we are here right now. Over here, we see a supply cache. You're going to have these sort of storytelling events that are going to appear here. Your grace, a supply cache lies before us. We will take their coin, capture their provisions, whatever, and then there is going to be a battle. If you hit play, the battle will ensue. These guys are now ready to fight. So for example, they are from Austria, and you can see this is Anton Subov, which is firm, which is calculating, which gives artillery range. For a good luck, this guy doesn't have artillery. He has Cossack cavalry, frontier recruits, and this is what we have. You can also choose to fight the battle or retreat. So we're going to choose to fight the battle, so we are going to see how similar to Total War this is. The first thing that you can see is that there are, for example, these splash screens that are going to show very nice artwork from the developer, and there is going to show you a little bit of insights about the 18th century battlefields. You have the deployment phase the same way as you would have in a Total War game. You have also here the slow motion, pause, you have the minimap over here, you have the time. You can select your units the same way as you would do it in a Total War game. Hence, I have selected this as my first, because from all the three, this is the most fun to play, at least that's for me. You can choose in between different modes of formations. You can choose, this is the flexible formation, in which you're going to do the same thing for the units like in Total War. You can choose line, so the unit is directly going to become a line, a column, or a attack column. The game has a focus on the 18th century battlefields. The units are very simple. They don't have those fancy graphics, but they are going to behave exactly as Empire Total War or Napoleon Total War. You're going to see that. You can select them from here. You can choose in between free fire or volley fire, lock to melee mode. Let me show you something interesting. You see the bayonets here? They have bayonets, so you can toggle bayonets. So you can put the bayonets or not the bayonets. So this is pretty self-explanatory. You are not going to be able to attack in melee if you do that. Lock to melee means that these guys are going to be able to attack in melee. And also you have fire at will, and also you can order them not to fire. The interesting thing here is that you also have hold and sprint. which is run. So let's get on to the battle and let's see what we can do. I'm going to march all of the units. By the way, you can choose all of the units and you're going to select them like this. So we're just going to march the units. Let's move very quickly. First, they are going to form themselves. Do you know that other wargame that it's very similar, that has this type of arrows that are shown in here? Ultimate General Civil War has the same arrows as you can see. So I'm going to put the soldiers in line over here. The cavalry, this is the commander, and I'm going to put the other one. Sadly, we don't have the same as Total War, in which you place the spacebar and you're going to be able to see the units or the future positions of the units, but at least it is doing a lot of good work. You can zoom in and you can see that they have this type of I'm gonna pause because we're about to fight these guys. If you zoom in, you're going to see a lot of interesting stuff. For example, here the blue line means the morale. You can see the health, but also you can see how they use this style, which is a 2D style on a 3D environment. I'm going to zoom in here for the frontier recruits. You're going to see them. They are pretty cute. They look nice. So yeah, let's get on with this and let's see what is going to happen right now. I'm going to run in here. I just send a run order and I'm going to send this cavalry over here. Running, of course. And here you can see that they are going to begin firing. For example, let's zoom in here and let's see how they fire. They are going to engage with these guys, so I'm just going to run in here. I thought they were running, so they are still going to get in position here so they can shoot at those guys. I'm going to move the general. The general has the same aura of effect as any Total War game. I'm going to move this cavalry, Prussian provincial cavalry, to attack these guys on the flank, or at least to make these guys not move. The other thing is that, for example, if you go to free fire, they are going to shoot completely different. As you can see, they are reloading, of course. There is going to be reload times. You can see here reload progress. You can see the bar here, which is the white bar that is reloading. It is pretty nice. It is pretty nice. It is good to see these games trying to emulate what Total War have been created so far for the wargame genre. I'm really happy to see this because this means that sooner rather than later, we're going to have something similar to Total War. This doesn't mean that I think that this is something that we can say it is a complete successor for Total War. Of course not. Eventually, it has all of the mechanics and all of the stuff that Total War have put on the table. And that means a lot. That means a lot because this only means that what Total War did was exactly a marvelous thing for the digital wargame genre. So this is Master of Command. This is the first in my list. Thank you for watching.